guys, welcome to a brand new video on my channel, Meg's Movies. If you are new to this channel, this is basically where I talk to you guys about my passion for movies. This goes from collections, hauls, reviews, and today's video, so let's get into it. Okay, so for this week's Disney review, we are going back to the very beginning with the first ever Disney animated film, and that is Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Now this is a re-review because I have done a review for this once before when I tried starting up this series. But we're going to get back into it in today's video. So yes, it's the very first classic Disney animated film, and it's what's set Disney off on its path. So just to give you guys a very basic plot summary, we are following the character of Snow White. She is this orphaned princess because obviously her parents have passed away, and we are dealing with her living with her evil stepmom. What then ends up happening is the evil stepmom ends up trying to get rid of Snow White. Snow White then ends up disappearing. However, she comes across some very odd and friendly people. I'm not going to say any more than that. I do try and stay as spoiler free as I possibly can on this channel. Obviously it can be quite difficult, but I'm hoping that wasn't over spoiling it or anything like that. So yes, so like I said, this is the very first animated Disney film we ever got. I will say it was my first time, I think this is like the third or fourth time now that I've watched this film, but I think the first time I watched it, I wasn't a kid, but I had watched it when I was younger. So to me, revisiting it now, I will be completely honest, as much as this is a beautifully animated film, I love the animation in this, especially since this is the first hand-drawn animation we got from Disney. And it is cute. For me, I struggle to fully get into it. Now, my reason being is, A, the pacing. I feel like it's quite quick for a film. It goes through the plot rather quick. Plus, to be honest, when I try and match it up to any of the other older Disney films, I think about, like I've said before on my channel, rewatchability and how often I go back to something. And when I think about things like 101 Dalmatians, or try to think of some older ones that I kind of like, the Aristocats, like things like that. When it comes to the older ones, there's only a handful that I tend to return to, and there's quite a few that I still have yet to watch. So like, for example, not next week's, but the following week's original versus remake will be Fantasia, because obviously there was the Sorcerer's Apprentice. And Fantasia is one that I haven't seen yet. And so, to me, like I said before, maybe because I didn't fully grow up on these films, that's why I'm not a huge fan of them compared to some of the more newer Disney stuff, as in like the 90s, the 2000s, things like that. I do like Snow White. I think she's a cute princess, you know, she's adorable. She has her like super sweet moments, and for me though, I feel like I prefer princesses like Belle or Tiana or Ariel. Like, I think I prefer the more modern ones, and I don't know why. Whether it's because they had a bit more energy to them, because I feel like the older ones dealt with being a bit more sort of like sweet and posh, whereas you got like Tiana and Belle and who else is a more modern Disney princess? There's probably others I can't think of right now. But they have sort of like a more fun edge to them, so I don't know, maybe it's just me. The Evil Queen, I do like her. I think she's a pretty badass villain. She does go through some very dark things. I wouldn't say she's like my top villain. I would say maybe my top 15 villain from Disney, just because she does go through quite some heinous things. And then you got the Seven Dwarfs. They are so cute. I love them. I feel like at the moment I'm sleeping. Just because I've been doing a lot more earlies and that. But I feel like with the Seven Dwarfs, we all can relate to one of them at least. And I don't know, I kind of like the dwarfs and just... I don't know, with Snow White, it's one of those that... This is my third or fourth time rewatching it, like I said. But it wouldn't be like my top 10 or my top 15. Might be my top 20, 25, somewhere there. But we'll see when I actually do get to ranking these movies. But I think for a first animated film, I think it done really well. I can see why Disney shot off. I can see why Disney did amazingly. And just, yeah, it's a very good first film. Kind of like how you had Toy Story as the first Pixar film. That helped shot Pixar up to be the animation company it is today. So I sort of feel like, you know, when you've got things like the house that Freddy built because Freddy Krueger helped New Line Cinema become popular, I feel like Snow White, she's the house that made Snow White. And so with that, I will say, if you want to get into the classic films from Disney, if you are someone like me who grew up on the more newer, sort of like older generation stuff, but you want to get into the classics, I certainly do recommend, no matter what, watching the first one, because you may as well see where Disney started. But my final score for this film, I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. It's not a 7, it's not an 8 or a 9, but it is higher than a 5, I think, just because of the animation, and I think some of the characters are fun, and just for a first film, it's not bad. But like I said, it's one I don't really return to that often. When I think of a Disney film to watch, I tend to automatically go Lilo and Stitch, Treasure Planet, Encanto, Big Hero 6. So there's sort of like more modern stuff that I tend to go for than the classics. So, but what a great first job, Disney. Well done on your first animated film. But yes, so I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then do give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to the channel, then go ahead, hit that subscribe button and also notification bell down below to be notified when I post. And leave me your comments and thoughts on the very first Disney animated film, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Is this a classic you still need to watch? What's your favourite version of the Snow White story? Because we've had quite a few. Some have been modern retellings like Mirror Mirror or Sydney White or Snow White and the Huntsman. Or do you prefer some of the other stuff that we've gotten? Let me know. So I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time.